"What are you doing in my room, Jenna?" I stood frozen in the doorway, my heart pounding as I watched my sister-in-law rummage through my dresser drawer. Jenna's head snapped up, her eyes wide with surprise. "I was just looking for something," she stammered, quickly shutting the drawer. "In my underwear drawer?" I asked, my voice tight with anger and disbelief. Jenna's face flushed as she fumbled for an explanation. "I thought I left my earrings in here when I was helping you fold laundry yesterday." I knew she was lying. We hadn't done laundry together, and I certainly wouldn't have let her near my personal items. The realization that she'd invaded my privacy sent a chill down my spine. "Get out," I said, my voice low and controlled. "Now!" As Jenna scurried past me, I caught a whiff of her expensive perfume, the same scent that had been lingering in my room for days. How many times had she been in here without my knowledge? I sank onto the edge of my bed, my mind racing. It had only been 2 weeks since Jenna and her daughter Amy had shown up on our doorstep, claiming they needed a place to stay after fleeing her abusive husband. My husband Evan had insisted we take them in, but something about Jenna's story had never sat right with me. The sound of little feet pattering down the hallway pulled me from my thoughts. My 6-year-old daughter Lucy poked her head into the room, her big brown eyes full of concern. "Mommy, are you okay? I heard you yelling." I forced a smile, not wanting to worry her. "Everything's fine, sweetie. Why don't you go play with Amy in the living room?" As Lucy skipped away, I heard the front door open and Evan's voice calling out a greeting. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the conversation ahead. I needed answers, and I wasn't going to let Jenna's presence in our home threaten the safety and stability of my family any longer. With determination, I stood up and headed downstairs. It was time to confront Evan about his sister's behavior and get to the bottom of what Jenna was really hiding. I found Evan in the kitchen, his back to me as he rummaged through the fridge. Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself for the conversation ahead. "Evan, we need to talk about Jenna." He turned, a look of exasperation crossing his face. "Kate, not this again. She's going through a tough time. She's going through our personal belongings," I snapped. "I just caught her in our bedroom, digging through my dresser." Evan's brow furrowed. "I'm sure there's an explanation. She's your sister, Evan, but that doesn't give her the right to invade our privacy," I argued, my frustration mounting. "What do you want me to do, Kate? Throw her and Amy out on the street?" Before I could respond, Jenna waltzed into the kitchen, Amy trailing behind her. "Hey guys, what's for dinner?" I bit my tongue, watching as Evan's demeanor instantly softened. "I was thinking of ordering pizza. What do you say, Kate?" "Whatever," I muttered, turning away to hide my clenched fists. That night, as Evan snored beside me, I lay awake, my mind racing. Something about Jenna's story didn't add up. Why would she need to rifle through our things if she was really fleeing an abusive situation? The next morning, I dropped Lucy off at school and headed to work, my suspicions gnawing at me. During my lunch break, I found myself Googling Jenna's name, searching for any clues about her past. What I found made my blood run cold. There, on a local news website, was a story about a woman named Jennifer Andrews, Jenna's full name, wanted for questioning in connection with a series of fraudulent investment schemes. My hands shaking, I picked up my phone and dialed the number listed for tips. "Hello," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I have information about Jennifer Andrews." As I hung up, a mix of emotions washed over me. Relief at finally having some answers, and dread at what this meant for my family. I knew I had to confront Jenna, but first, I needed more proof. With renewed determination, I headed back to the office, already formulating a plan. It was time to uncover the truth about Jenna, no matter the cost. My hands trembled as I dialed Stan's number. After 3 rings, a gruff voice answered. "Hello, Stan? This is Kate, Evan's wife. I need to talk to you about Jenna." There was a long pause before he spoke again, his voice tight with emotion. "What has she done now?" I took a deep breath. "She's living with us, claiming you were abusive. But I found some information that suggests otherwise. I need to know the truth." Stan let out a bitter laugh. I never hurt Jenna. She left because she was hiding something from me. Something big. My heart raced as I pressed for more details. Stan's story unfolded, painting a picture of Jenna I barely recognized. Fraudulent investments, drained bank accounts, and a trail of lies that stretched back years. "She's not who you think she is," Stan warned. "Be careful." As I hung up, my mind reeled. How could I have let this woman into our home, around our daughter? That evening, I watched Jenna closely during dinner. She laughed and joked with Evan, while Amy played happily with Lucy. The perfect picture of family harmony, except for the knot in my stomach. Later, as I tucked Lucy into bed, she looked up at me with wide eyes. "Mommy, why is Aunt Jenna always in your room when you're not home?" My blood ran cold. "What do you mean, sweetie?" "I saw her yesterday. She was looking at your computer." I kissed Lucy goodnight, my mind racing. In our bedroom, I booted up my laptop, dreading what I might find. Sure enough, my email had been accessed, and several important documents were missing from my files. Fury and fear warred within me as I stormed downstairs. Jenna was alone in the living room, scrolling through her phone. "How dare you?" I hissed, my voice shaking. "How dare you come into our home and betray us like this?" Jenna's head snapped up, her eyes wide with panic. "Kate, I don't know what you're talking about, Dash. Save it." I cut her off. "I know everything. About the fraud, about Stan, about you sneaking into our room. It's over, Jenna." For a moment, Jenna's mask slipped, revealing a coldness I'd never seen before. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, Kate. Back off, or you'll regret it." As she brushed past me, I realized with chilling clarity that the real battle was just beginning. And I had to protect my family, no matter the cost. I couldn't sleep that night, Jenna's threat echoing in my mind. By morning, I knew I had to confront Evan with the truth. As we sat at the breakfast table, Lucy happily munching her cereal, I took a deep breath. "Evan, we need to talk about Jenna. Now." His face hardened. "Kate, I thought we were past this. How could you lie to us, Jenna?" I demanded, turning to face her. She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. "I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered, but I could see the panic in her eyes. I laid out everything I'd learned. The fraud, Stan's story, her snooping through our things. With each revelation, Evan's face grew paler. "Is this true?" he asked Jenna, his voice barely above a whisper. Jenna's demeanor changed in an instant. Gone was the vulnerable sister act, replaced by a cold, calculating woman I barely recognized. "You don't understand. I had no choice," she spat. "You have no idea what I've been through." "No choice." I was incredulous. "You chose to lie to us, to put our family at risk." Evan stood up abruptly. "I need some air," he muttered, heading for the door. "Evan, wait." I called after him, but he was already gone. Jenna smirked. "He'll never believe you over me. I'm his sister." I felt a surge of anger. "Get out of my house. Now." "You can't kick me out," she sneered. "This is Evan's home too."
Lucy looked between us, confusion and fear on her little face. "Mommy, what's happening?" I scooped her up, holding her close. "It's okay, sweetie. Everything's going to be fine." But as I watched Jenna saunter out of the kitchen, I knew this was far from over. I had to protect my family, even if it meant taking drastic measures. That afternoon, I called my parents. "Mom, Dad, I need your help," I said, my voice shaking. "Things with Jenna have gotten worse, and I don't think I can handle this alone anymore." As I hung up, I steeled myself for what was to come. It was time to take a stand, no matter the cost. I wouldn't let Jenna destroy everything I held dear. I paced the living room, my nerves frayed as I waited for Evan to return. When he finally walked through the door, his eyes were red-rimmed and distant. "Evan, we need to talk," I said, my voice trembling. "This can't go on." He slumped onto the couch. I threw myself into my work and focused on Lucy, grateful for my parents' unwavering support. Evan, meanwhile, attended therapy sessions, grappling with the betrayal of his sister and his own role in our family's near destruction. One crisp autumn afternoon, Evan called. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice hesitant but determined. We met at a small cafe, neutral ground. As I sat across from him, I saw the toll the past months had taken. But I also saw something else, a resolve I hadn't seen in years. "Kate," he began, his eyes meeting mine, "I know I've hurt you deeply. I let my loyalty to Jenna blind me to the truth, and I nearly lost everything that truly matters." I nodded, feeling a lump form in my throat. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," he continued, "about us, about our family. If you're willing, I want to try to rebuild what we had, to make it stronger." I took a deep breath. "We need time, Evan. If we're going to fix this, it has to be together but separate for now. We can't rush back into things and pretend nothing happened." He nodded, relief and determination mingling in his expression. "I understand. I'm willing to do whatever it takes." Over the next few months, we attended counseling sessions together and separately. Slowly, painfully, we began to rebuild trust. Evan proved his commitment time and again, not just with words, but with actions. As winter thawed into spring, I felt a change in myself as well. The ordeal with Jenna had awakened a strength in me I didn't know I possessed. I was no longer the woman who doubted herself or stayed silent to keep the peace. On a warm evening in May, Evan and I sat on our porch swing, Lucy playing in the yard before us. He took my hand, his touch familiar yet new. "We've been through hell," I said softly, "but we're stronger now. For Lucy, for us." Evan squeezed my hand. "I love you, Kate. Thank you for giving us another chance." As I watched Lucy's carefree laughter, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but we'd face it together, stronger and wiser than before. Jenna's betrayal had nearly destroyed us, but in the end, it had forged us into something unbreakable. We were family, imperfect, resilient, and bound by a love that had weathered the fiercest storm.